Round one. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry Gamers.
Hello, and welcome, boys and girls, to the 183rd episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast, a weekly podcast serving you up the tastiest slices of video game and pop culture infotainment delivered right into your ears in 30 minutes or less, or it's free. I am your not-so-humble host, Brendan White. You can find me just about everywhere, Brendan 8-Bit. And joining me today, firstly, my trusted co-host, co-pilot, star of BioWare spin-off Sass Effect. Find her all over the internet at Miss Ally Hart. Miss Ally Hart, and rounding out the crew today, a very special guest from the US of A, a man out there representing for all the dad bods out here. He can be found at the casino, hosting the Dad's Beards Nerds podcast, or online via at Dadbods Plays. Miss Anthony Flarida, welcome to the Hungry Gamers, man. It's a pleasure.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me. Thank you for working with my time zone as well. I appreciate that, and I just thank you for making an amazing podcast.
We do what we can. And truth be told, I think I'm the outlier these days on the podcast scheduling. So the mutiny is coming thick and fast from these Americans and new Americans. So I have to yield and get up. Been awake since 7 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday, which is blasphemy.
Yikes!
Old Brendan would be slapping me around the face right about now. But, you know, got to risk it to get the biscuit, as they say. And here we are, two Americans and an Australian talking games on a weekend. Can't get any better.
I am not an American, though.
No, we claim you now.
You're on your way.
We claimed you now. You're ours. You've got that firm red, white, and blue grasp on you. These colors don't bleed. Don't tread on me. Okay?
Technically Australian colours, though. Our flag has the same colours.
She's drinking Coors Light and Dip and Chew. We got her, boys.
No Marmite over here.
No.
Marmite? What brand of skull is that?
So I guess we should hand over the floor to you first, good sir, just to give us a little bit of a background story. Give us the elevator pitch. Tell us about what you're doing over there on the West Coast. Where can people find you? What's some of those benefits of hunting you down on the socials or on Twitch or just listen to that podcast in audio form? Give us the story.
First and foremost, my name's Anthony, aka Dadbod Plays. I am a Twitch streamer, podcast creator, dad, husband, and full-time slave to the casino, which I actually love working in a casino, so slave to the casino. It's more like indentured servant to the casino. So basically, yeah, I stream a lot. The podcast is really my main focus. My stream is something where it's really sporadic based off of my schedule. I mean, when you've got 3 kids, a wife, a full-time job, and you work grave shift, it's a little hard to keep that consistency on a tight schedule. Just, you know, with working a grave shift, you're going to have one sleep schedule for maybe a week or two, and then all of a sudden something's going to change. You're going to have to stay up a little later, and it just screws that whole sleep schedule up. So basically, it's kind of whenever I do it, I try to keep a consistency, but realistically, there's no consistency. If I'm being honest.
Well, consistency inconsistent is still a thing. We do that here with some of our content, so don't feel bad. You know, people still keep turning up. Maybe they've got nothing else to do on a Monday, but listen to this podcast. But mate, we love our listeners, and no doubt you've got a pretty loyal fan base out there too, with that brand of zaniness energy that you are delivering on that pod and in streams and on your social hot takes and your little video clips, mate. You've got energy for days. It is ridiculous considering you've got 3 kids, you're working full time, you got the wife, you got life, and yet here you are shunning Ali and I as far as energy levels. We're in the corner over here trying to find a couple of kilojoules, and you are just beaming across the internet right now.
I'm always full of energy, and just imagine how much energy my 3 children have as well. Like they've got, they're my little Energizer batteries. So yeah, well, I mean, I've always been super high energy, super loud, super like just wild, I guess. I was very much raised in a family where it was okay to be really weird, and I guess this is my brand of weird, you know?
Yeah.
Amen to that. There's no novelty in normality, as they say, and it's good to be yourself, whether it be loud or eccentric or mixture of everything, mate. The weirder the better, I think, out there this day and age.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
As long as you're nothing like Logan Paul, because if that's the case, piss off. Let's
Wait, it's not okay to film dead bodies?
no, and just be general.
Shit, I've got a
cock
whole
smokers like those guys.
I've got a whole folder on my computer I got to get rid of then.
Yeah. Get the drill out and straight through the hard drive. Just punch a hole through it.
Have to get rid of this.
If Mr. Robot taught me anything, that's the best way to.
I was going to
purge that
ask
bad
how
data.
you knew that.
Hacker man.
What have you done?
Yeah, many things that we will never speak of on this podcast. But what we can speak of is what we've been up to this past week. Talk about what we've been playing. Maybe we'll throw it over to our guest co-host here, playing a game that is very near and dear to especially Miss Ali Hart's heart here.
Okay.
Division 2.
Yes. So
Tell me.
the Division 2 will be releasing its next DLC on March 3rd. So what I did, and not to mention the game is $3 right now. I believe it's still $3 on all consoles, which is a fucking steal for this game. So if you haven't played it or never played it or want to play it, this is the best time to buy it because $3 for the Division is bonkers. I paid $100 for it at launch. Got a little burned though because I bought the gold edition thinking that it came with all the paid DLC, but realistically, I paid an extra $40 to get the game 3 days early and some skins. So I'm still a little butthurt about that. But a little bit of that is on me. I should have read the fine print. But the reason why I've been so hard on the Division, this week in general and last week is because we got the DLC coming out on March 3rd where we're going back to New York, which is awesome because the first game took place in New York. So I said, well, I'm going to power level and just get it going. And I did. I'm at World Tier 4 right now. There's 5 World Tiers in the main game. So I'll probably, when I stream again, we'll be playing it, hit World Tier 5 and then work on hitting max gear score. There's a lot of nerdy stuff that people probably don't care about, but it's so exciting because then it becomes a game of percentages. Which is fun, and I never thought it would be that fun, but for whatever reason, it clicks. But I'm realistically just waiting to hop in that DLC, and what I really want from them, from Massive Games, so if you're listening, is put a goddamn survival mode in this game, because survival mode in the first game was one of the most amazing, bonkers game modes that I've ever played, and I fucking loved it. It got, hands down, at least 40 hours from me. And I really want that survival mode, so I'm hoping they announce it because there's no way they're going to do it in the first game and then not do it in the second game because if they don't, well, I'll cry.
You could cry tears of joy, though, because I know that this new update in the DLC is bringing what they're calling an infinite progression system. So once you hit that 40 cap, you can still keep improving your stats, which is something that I guess will keep those diehard agents returning again and again as they try and take down the scum of New York while trying to get a nice fat pizza pie over there.
Yeah, it definitely seems like they're taking Borderlands medal system. Well, Borderlands 2, it was the medal system, but in number 3, I don't know what it's called, but basically where you've got those badass points and you can put them into whatever, and you're still continuously like gaining, not necessarily stats, but you're getting like, percentage upgrades and little boosts like Borderlands does, which is really smart, especially for those players who are consistently staying with the game and not leaving. So now you're going to go up against people in the PvP mode, which hopefully they max them all out at a certain stat. Just like in Pokemon, if we do online battles, everyone's at level 50. So, because if they don't, you're going to get some guys in, I think it's Conflict, that are just wrecking everybody and anybody, regardless of what their gear is.
Yeah,
which makes it tough. Miss Hart, are you gonna jump back on when this DLC drops next month?
I gotta say, like seeing everyone just jump back on it. Like I think it was maybe even just yesterday, I really saw everyone streaming it. I saw people tweeting about it. I saw it on my Xbox Live that people were playing it. I'm like, fuck yeah, I might get back into this game. Like I loved it, and I think I just fell off because I think my co-player base kind of just dwindled, and I'm a person who likes to play with other people, so I think I might jump back in. If everyone else is nosediving in, then it's a good time to come back.
It's certainly intriguing for me. Like I'm a fan of the Division series, but I never really sort of sunk my teeth into it like both yourselves did. So I'll probably give it a go when it drops next month. But then the tough part is like a week later, we've got new Doom and Animal Crossing as well. So it's like you're gonna get a good Division fix. Then you're like, all right, you're on the shelf for the foreseeable future. I'll come back to you in June, sort of thing. That's how it's sort of feeling for me.
So yeah.
You know what though? Yeah. That's it. It's definitely a game where if you take some time off, like you're not missing a whole lot. The worst part that would happen is they would, throw out some patches that would nerf like one of your builds, which is what they did with my main build when I was going wild when it was first came out, and that kind of deterred me. But like that would be the worst thing that would happen, because overall they're not changing the game much because it's a game as a service. It's just like Destiny or Overwatch. They're just making little tweaks to weapons, skills, builds. So
that's it. It's certainly a game that, like, in typical Ubisoft fashion, it has a decent launch, but you really see the game take shape 12 months down the line, 18 months down the line, where they've gotten to that secret sauce and all the players come flocking back, and it just generates sale after sale, like as it is with all these Tom Clancy oriented games. It seems like you look at Siege, look at Div 1 and things like that. People just get on the train, get off the train, then come back and go, yeah, I'll ride this for a little longer. Let's go.
Well, real fast, one more thing. What's wild about massive games too is their games get better after the first year. Especially with Division 1 had a lot of complaints, and then after that first year they did a big overhaul and people loved it again. So I think that with this next level of DLC, with this new map and everything, I think we're going to see them really hit their stride, which I don't think Division 2 has been a bad game so far. I think realistically it was Division 1.5, but I'm okay with that. More Division was good Division. Yeah. But I think once we see this new DLC go live and we got new patches and new updates, I think people will come back and they'll get that praise that I think it'll kind of be the same cycle as Division 1, where people will be like, oh, everything's fixed, everything I hated has changed, I love the game again, and then they'll go from there and just make it better, small improvements, stuff like that.
Yeah, so Warlords of New York dropping on March the 3rd on all the consoles. It's a $30 add-on. My goodness. So that you actually bought like the gold-plated edition of the Division 2, I think, not the gold edition. God, Ubisoft just sneakily just stabbing you from the shadows as they like to do.
You know what, though? Massive Games kind of earned it from the first one, so I wasn't too mad. I got so much. I probably got like 200 hours out of the first game, so I didn't. It sucked, but I was also like, yeah, it's fair. On a $60 game, I got well worth that amount. So
yeah, and now a $3. That's insane. Like you can't even get a coffee for $3. So yeah. Get out and get your hands on it. But talking about sort of stabbing from the shadows, Miss Allie Hart and I were playing a bit of the Bleeding Edge beta this past weekend. Ninja Theory developed game, exclusive to Xbox and I guess you could say the Microsoft ecosystem. Miss Hart, what did you think about it? Did you play a good amount of time? Did you have a few matches?
Yeah.
What's your pros? What's your cons?
So I actually put quite a few hours into it. It was an interesting experience because I didn't know what I was getting into. I really didn't know, and even from the trailers that they released, like there wasn't really any kind of like major sign on what to expect in regards to gameplay, like or how it was going to play out. And then it took me a few rounds to really figure out like the dynamic and like the general vibe of how to play the game. Once I did, I fucking loved it. It's chaos. It's just like straightforward chaos. It's got like a lot of elements that you could just say is very reminiscent of like Overwatch. There's a lot of like, grabbing points and dropping into certain spots or holding certain positions for certain times with like really wildish and outlandish characters with their own quirks and abilities. And it's a 4 stack, so you usually try to spread out like healer, someone that's like defense and someone that's got long range and then short range and stuff. But I found that kind of communication kind of went void on this beta playing with randos. So the thing about it though, that someone kind of like asked me, they said, oh, so would you pay $60 for this game?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
No.
It's apparently like I think it's $40 US or $30 US on release, so it's not priced as a AAA, which is good. But the good thing, obviously, with anyone that's in that Microsoft ecosystem, it's going to be free in Games Pass. So
yes,
you got nothing to worry about when it drops next month, March 24. We've got a beta, a second round of beta coming out. I think it's the 13th of March, so the week before you can get another little taste of Bleeding Edge. But I enjoyed it. Like I like the sort of third person over the shoulder camera.
Yeah,
it was a little bit of a change to a lot of these sort of hero shooters and hero brawlers where it is typically first person. But I noticed quickly, if you're not sort of sticking with one of your other squad mates and you're just sort of rolling around solo, you get chomped up so quick.
And that was like, it's pretty much like, especially I appreciate that they had that very detailed tutorial at the start so you could learn like abilities, characters, like how to
skipped it.
play. Oh, did you?
Yeah, so
typical guy.
it was my first
skipping
bad
the
decision of the morning.
instructions straight into the game.
Don't need no manual.
Yeah, fuck this. I can build IKEA. So I like went through all that. I appreciate it because I think I went in understanding it a lot better and it wasn't so daunting. But like the first thing they teach you is that you need to stick together in this game. You need to stick with your team. And so many times where like these random people I was playing with, there was set the characters and there was no freaking healer. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'll do it the healer. And then everyone just goes and fucks off. And I'm just like, great, I'm just dying and I'm useless. So
yeah.
yeah.
That's when the game sort of dragged a little bit. When there was no cohesion, the game, like, it was just like, fuck this. Like, I'm just getting ganked by 3 members of another team over and over and over. But I liked the characters very large in life, very Borderlandsy. And then they're sort of mixing a bit of sort of steampunk. They're all like enhanced characters with like metal appendages and big wheels and crazy art styles and personalities. Like they're pretty cool, unique characters. I sort of found myself playing either Cass, which is almost like an assassin demon bird woman.
Chicken lady.
Nidhogger. Yeah, the chicken lady. Nidhogger, which was like a guy that looked like he's from Deathlock, the sort of merely guitarist.
the Norwegian death metal guy.
Yeah. Or Miko, which was the sort of like a pseudo push healer she's almost like a tribeswoman with the big like ram's head on. They were the 3 I was sort of rotating in and out, and it's pretty good. Like, I wonder how much depth this game's going to have on release. Like, it's obviously just team-based mode, so you got control and capture the flag and type of things like that. But it was fun. Yeah. It's certainly like you need to be playing with friends or with people on comms, otherwise the game's going to drag a bit. But
it can be.
I'm digging it.
It can be absolute. Like you can either have like awesome like controlled chaos, or then you just have like not so enjoyable, just disoriented chaos. So I felt like you were either going to have that kind of match or the other. It was never like consistent. So, which is a shame. And like you said, the character designs and like just overall, I really enjoyed like the detail, the fact that these had like profiles and they all had their own like, like a lot of them were very like country based. Like you could see like which country they came from and like the history and heritage behind them. Like there's a cute Australian character, although I'm sick of the Mad Max like vibe that they give Australian characters in these games.
That's just our stereotype these days. Shrimps on Barbies and Mad Max post-apocalyptic desert country badasses. Yeah, that's us apparently.
It's a Junkrat, and I've completely forgotten what her name is. It's like it begins with M, I think.
Maeve? I think it's Maeve.
Maeve? But I think in this game I was playing in Bleeding Edge, I really stayed towards is it El Bastardo? The guy with
the sort of tank machete welding guy.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed his gameplay a lot more. But I kind of cycled through everyone, but he kind of just stayed. I felt like he was the most useful out of all of them.
He's tough to take down.
Yeah.
He was a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah, and he can deal some damage too.
Is this a game that you're going to look at closer to release or maybe try out on the beta? I should have asked, I guess, let off. Have you got Xbox or you play any Xbox games through the PC, or is this something that's just not completely on your radar at all?
No, so I actually looked this up. I was looking at the agenda beforehand and I looked it up and I am familiar with this. I want to say didn't this get some coverage at the Game Awards? Didn't it have like a trailer at the Game Awards or something?
Yeah, like it got announced. It got announced at the Game Awards, and it's pretty crazy because this is through Ninja Theory, who obviously are doing Hellblade 1 and now Hellblade 2, and it's such a disconnect from that content to go to this larger-than-life, bright neon, futuristic 4v4 brawler. So, crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I was checking out a YouTube video on it because I wasn't very familiar with it, but it sounded familiar, so I looked it up, and it looks like a lot of fun. It looks just batshit bonkers, very Overwatchy, but all melee. I did see the guy who was playing their heals was absolutely not healing at all and just shooting people. But I do have an Xbox. I bought the digital version because I found it for $150 at Walmart. I love my Xbox. I never thought I would say that. I'm generally a Sony pony, but I mean, with Games Pass being what it is, the Xbox at $150 was a steal and probably one of the best gaming purchases I purchased in a very long time. So if I can find some people to play this with, then yeah, I probably would pick it up. I'm not much of a multiplayer game type guy other than Rocket League and The Division. But if I can find a solid crew of people to play this with, which I think with those, online multiplayer shooters or games where it's very important to have a good team. Because when you get randos, like in Rocket League, you get a lot of really sketchy people who don't really know what they're doing. They don't understand to rotate, stuff like that. So I think that if I could find a group to play with or a solid team, or at least 3 out of 4, then yeah, I would definitely jump on this. But I'll probably give it a try. But if I can't find a solid crew, then it'll just get pushed to the wayside.
Nice. Well, you got a couple of people here. The jury is still out if it's a solid crew, but we can certainly swing a sword and headbutt some fools. So once this drops, obviously, as I said, the second round of the beta is coming out on March the 13th, and it's going to run all weekend again. And then the full game release is like a week later. So you can get a sample and then decide if you want to commit to the full purchase a week after, or get it free included in Games Pass, which is the smarter way to go.
Games Pass, such a great deal.
Games Pass, you can get a month for free or a month for $1. I think it starts for. So get amongst that action. Something that I got amongst this past weekend as well. I watched a couple of films. Went to the movies twice, and watched both Sonic and Fantasy Island. I'll give you
D-Plane.
Yeah. And they even weave that in there.
No
My goodness,
way.
They did do a plane, and they had a Asian fellow named Tattoo in it. Like, it was so on the nose. Like, this, without a doubt, is just about the worst movie I've ever seen at the cinemas. And I've watched many, many movies in the cinema. This movie was a mess. It wasn't even like that bad it's good. Like, it was just straight bad. Like, it didn't know what it wanted to be. It was trying to be scary. It was trying to be funny. It was trying to be like dude bro comedy. It was trying to be teen drama. It was a dog's breakfast of a film, and avoid it like the plague. Like, even if you see it when it lands on streaming services, maybe just avoid it there too, because it straight fucking sucked. And it's a shame because Blumhouse, they usually do pretty good cheesy horror.
Yeah.
And this is just filth. So, Fantasy Island, stay away, avoid at all costs. But maybe go check out Sonic. It wasn't bad. Like, movie and all, for all intents and purposes, it was kind of crap, but it was a fun, enjoyable movie.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey doing old Jim Carrey things again, which is great. It seems like the shackles have been taken off Mr. Carey, and he's gone back to his 90s roots where he's just bonkers over the life human caricature on the screen. And yeah, it wasn't bad. Obviously, it's opened itself up off the sequel, and we'll talk more about that in the news shortly. But Sonic, I know, Miss Hart, you haven't watched it yet, right?
No.
You've missed it?
No, I missed out on it because I have this little old lady tendency where I want to see my movies first thing in the morning, like early. And my local cinema doesn't seem to be doing early movies anymore. Every movie started at like lunchtime. And no offense, I don't want to be in a room with kids, so... And I'm too old to stay up, so...
But what are kids doing at the movies at lunchtime over there? What happens on the west coast of the US of A? What's Trump doing?
We do
I don't
whatever
know.
we want.
The kids in school,
We
Trump.
do whatever we want.
That's the thing about America. So, like, some people have jobs and then some people have different time slots. It's crazy. Like, usually you'd be, like, going to the cinema in Australia, like, during work hours, and I say that, work hours, and you're usually pretty good. But no, everyone just has a weird schedule. So it's like... For me, it's like I have to go dead set first thing in the morning or it's just no go. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to find a way to watch this one.
I love a good morning cinema viewing because the popcorn is fresh. It's straight out of the hopper, and it's just like from God's lips to your mouth. Like, it's so good. It is so good. Anthony, is Sonic something... Have you got any sort of emotional attachment to the Sonic franchise? Were you a Sonic kid growing up? Are you keen to watch the movie? I know you got 3 young ones. Are you going to take them along and watch Sonic go fast?
Real fast, I want to jump to Fantasy Island real quick. Just like Cats, it was a movie nobody asked for, but for whatever reason, somebody wanted to make. And it rightly deserves to bomb. And
oh, yeah.
Next up, Sonic.
It is the worst.
We did. My wife and I took our kids to go see it. We went and saw it the day after opening, so we went the Saturday after it came out. Like it was a movie. It was a good movie. It wasn't a bad movie, but it wasn't like... I expected a little more Jim Carrey time. I thought he was going to really carry that movie on his back. I remember we were going to hear about how he blew out his sciatic filming that movie. But overall, it wasn't a bad movie. I didn't there were two things in that movie, and these aren't spoilers, so no spoilers, that were just didn't belong there. Number one, the really mean sister for absolutely no reason, constantly talking about divorce. We have no backstory.
Yeah.
What did he do in that relationship at some point? You can't just come in throwing out the divorce word when we have absolutely no context as to why she doesn't like him. There's no reason. Next, Olive Garden, get your fucking grubby hands off Sonic, okay?
Yeah, there's so many Olive Garden
Like,
mentions.
they straight up go, yeah, because they treat you like family. And I'm like, this is a really weird fucking ad. I already watched them all at the beginning of the, like, before the movie started. Why is Olive Garden in here? Get out of here with your unlimited breadsticks and your always family slogan and your unlimited pasta bowl that only ends up turning into about a bowl and a half because you ate too many fucking breadsticks and soda. Overall, though, I did enjoy Sonic. When Jim Carrey, there's a scene where he throat punches like his assistant, and it is the funniest, most Jim Carrey thing in the world. And then he's just like, and it comes out of nowhere. I know we all saw it in the previews, but it's just. Jim Carrey was solid in this movie. I thought everybody was solid. What was it? The voice actor for Sonic is the same guy who plays John Ralphio in Parks and Rec.
Yeah, and James Marsden was good as the Donut Lord, as they were calling him. And yeah, he was a good, wholesome guy. But yeah, his wife's bloody sister just hated his guts. Like, there was these weird things in that movie that just didn't belong.
Yeah, I didn't understand that at all. And when her daughter wouldn't untie her, I was like, that's right. The little girl knows what's up.
Like, spoiler, but it doesn't take or add anything to the plot. But there was a part where Jim Carrey and James Marsden were having a back and forth. And James Marsden like goes, I was breastfed as a kid. And then Jim Carrey's like, I was raised in an orphanage. I'm jealous of you, or something like that. And it's like, this is just weird. Why is this exchange in this movie? And why is Jim Carrey jealous that James Marsden got to suck at his mum's teeth? Like, I don't understand this.
Suck on supple teats as a baby.
Yeah, I was like, what is going on here? This doesn't belong. But yeah, it was Jim Carrey madness, and yeah, we'll talk more about it in a second, I guess.
Definitely selling it to me, guys.
I liked it. It wasn't a bad movie at all. The kids enjoyed it, which is really like all that mattered. They were really excited to see it, and it was an okay movie for me. I enjoy everybody. I really enjoyed the little ending thing too, and then in the beginning where we got cameos from Sonic characters as well, so that was pretty cool. And supposedly someone went and looked at the map, and that map is Sega properties, and there's a virtual on, or a possible virtual on world that he has scratched off.
Damn.
Yeah.
Nice. I love the internet. Well, parts of the internet. Some of it just terrifies me, and I need to run far, far away. But I got a quick question for you guys regarding movie etiquette with popcorn. Like, I know in the US of A, you go to the cinemas and you get your buttered popcorn with the salt already applied. But you guys then go to the butter dispensaries or ask the attendant to like do the and like pump some fresh melted butter over the top as well, or are you just straight out of the machine? That's good enough for me. Let's roll.
Every movie theater I've ever been to, they automatically put the butter pump on there. It's just a consensus that we're all gluttons, and we want that delicious butter in our body, possibly clogging our arteries. Whatever. We're here for a good time, not a long time. God bless America. So, but you know what? The butter's great and all. Okay, but let me tell you about a little something that some American theaters have been doing. It's called Tapatio dispensers, where they keep the seasonings. And yes, we do have some theaters that have an actual seasoning bar that you can go to, throw the seasoning on there. But they have a Tapatio dispenser, much like the butter dispenser now, for you to put it on your popcorn. And if you've never put Tapatio or Sriracha on your popcorn, you are missing out, all of you saucy folks out there. So get on it, start doing it.
Damn.
Find a theater where they do this, because I will drench those delicious little kernels in Tapatio all day, every day. Stacks on stacks on stacks on stacks until my ulcer and stomach can't handle it. I'm blowing it all out my ass. You know what I'm saying?
To answer the question, I'm happy with what I get.
You're clearly missing out, though. This
Apparently,
Tapatio pump
I'm a little bitch,
the
I can't
fountain
do
of the gods.
spicy. No, I can't do spicy, so I'm just going to have to bitch out.
And sadly, in Australia, we don't get any options. So we don't have like butter pumps and Tapatio pumps that you get your butter and salted popcorn out of the hopper. Or now they're starting to sell like flavored popcorn. So you can get like caramel corn and like cheese flavor and barbecue. but it's just OG for me. It's just give me that cinema popcorn.
Yeah, cinema
But I've got a cinema popcorn maker at home here, and I've got like a 2 kilo tub of the cinema salt and like a 4 liter tub of the proper oil and everything. So we get down here at home. Don't worry about that. We get down.
You know, the only popcorn on par with cinema popcorn is Target popcorn.
Ooh,
Target's popcorn is about. I swear to God, it's the same exact popcorn you get from the cinemas. I'm saying cinemas because I don't want to say movies. I like the way you guys say it. Cinemas.
Cinema.
Cinemas.
There's like an AR. It almost ends with ARS.
Cinemas.
Cinema.
John Marsden.
Cinema. John Marsden.
But yeah, Target popcorn's pretty dope too. So if you ever get a chance to get, I mean, you guys have Targets in Australia, right?
They're different. They're different though.
Target.
They're...
It's called Target.
Target. We've even got like a baby Target in the smaller rural hubs of Australia, and it's called Target Country. That's how backwater we are over here. The smaller country pockets of Australia have Target Country.
Target Country. Yep. We got smaller Walmarts called Walmart Homes or whatever, and they're sort of like the Whole Foods of Walmarts, which is really funny that Walmart would have a Whole Foods version.
Yeah.
Sadly, no Walmart here. We've got Aldi and Woolworths and Coles.
There's Aldi here now.
Yeah.
In the States, yeah. I'm seeing Audis.
Yeah, they don't muck around. All right. Speaking of not mucking around, bit of housekeeping. The debut episode of Welcome to Knob Switch is available to listen on all podcast hosting platforms right now. Be sure to follow @KnobSwitch on Twitter for all the details. And that is our Monster of the Week podcast, which debuted with 8-Bit 4.0. And a couple other little bits of news and snippets on the housekeeping side. 8bitnation.net or shop8bit.net for the direct hub and central conduit for all things 8-bit. You're going to get direct links to our web store, to our Patreon, to our Discord, to our Facebook group. And the last bit of housekeeping, the 8-Bit Family Portrait for 2020 is officially underway. And this year's theme is Marvel vs. DC. If you want in on this artistic awesomeness, it's going to set you back $10 via our Patreon, which is patreon.com/weare8bit. But you can get immortalized as anybody from the entire DC and or Marvel universe. But it is first come, first serve. So if someone's already picked Batman or Superman or whoever it might be, they are gone. So get in quick if you want in on that action. It's coming along pretty well. We've got a fresh new artist putting this one together. And I'm excited to see us all looking our best or worst selves. And yeah, that is housekeeping. Let's get into some news.
This week's news headlines.
News. Small bite, full circle, going to Sonic. The live-action Sonic the Hedgehog film has grossed $57 million, with no thanks to Miss Sally Hart because you couldn't get a morning session, at the US box office in its opening weekend, outpacing Detective Pikachu, which had $54.3 million over the opening weekend, to set a new record for video game adaptations. Overseas, Sonic grossed $43 million from 40 markets, placing its total opening weekend revenue at $100 million. Still $61 million behind Detective Pikachu on the world stage. Critics were largely unimpressed by the film and divided on Jim Carrey's turn as evil genius Dr. Robotnik. Critics, piss off. He was great. He was crazy. But the Blue Blur, was a hit with cinema goers, receiving 95% audience review score on Rotten Tomatoes, or Tomatoes for us Australians over here. But yes, Sonic the Hedgehog, the movie is going gangbusters. Largest opening weekend for video game adaptations in the US of all time. Obviously, as they alluded to at the end of the film, they are certainly opening this universe up for potential future sequels. To no surprise, they're probably already writing a script for this. But yeah, it's good to see there's still life for video game movies. What do you guys reckon of this? We're going to see more off the back of that. We're going to see more flooding, maybe a new Mario film. What do you reckon?
So for the Sonic universe, I would be surprised if, Jim Carrey, the guy John Marsden, and the voice of Sonic weren't locked in for at least a 3-movie deal. I would be absolutely surprised considering the way that the little end credit scene. By the way, how bonkers is it that Sonic movie gets an end credit scene? We've been so spoiled by superhero movies that if a movie doesn't have an end credit scene, we're like, what? Like, why the fuck wasn't there one at the end of Little Women? Why didn't I see Littler Women at the end of Little Women?
Less Little Women it is at the end.
Where the hell was that end credit scene?
Now.
Where's the end credit scene for fucking, The Boy and stuff like that? I don't know. I just couldn't think of anything off the top of my head. I was trying to think of something really funny, really hard. The gears were moving. It just wasn't working. Next, if you were one of the people online who complained about the first Sonic design and didn't see the movie, you can fuck off and eat a dick, because that movie cost a lot more because they had to do that redesign, because all of you little keyboard warriors had to complain about it. But with that being said, I'm very happy this movie did really well. I think it had an amazing cast. I think it deserved to do really well. And the whole movie as a whole is a really fun movie. It's not a bad movie. I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. It's kind of comes up to preference, but my kids loved it. And that's really all that mattered. If my kids loved it, it was a good movie because it kept them entertained. They wanted to see it. They were really excited about it. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited that movies like Sonic and Detective Pikachu that are using these kind of like cartoony, hyper-realistic CG effects mixed in with real life people are doing really well. It's kind of like a renaissance, or not a renaissance, but a reimagining of when Disney back in the day was doing stuff like Mary Poppins, and like we were getting movies that were introducing cartoon characters with real people. So we're kind of getting that second wave of that with CG and 3D graphics. So it's really nice. I'm happy it did so well.
And it is kind of nice to see like almost our childhood go full circle. Like these are franchises that we all grew up with as kids, and now our kids are experiencing these franchises as something new to them.
Yes.
So it's kind of nice that you have this bond. Like we took our little guy to Sonic, and he loved it. Now he's got, the Sonic game on the iPad and friggin' on his sort of 3DS and all that, and he's all about the Sonic life now. So it's kind of cool that you've got these sort of massive, big, emotional touchstones that are now sort of getting shared across the whole sort of landscape of the family, which I'm all about. Ms. Hart, go check out the movie. I will. Because you're a Sonic purist.
Yes, I grew up with Sonic. I was on the Sonic side, not the Mario side. So I'm actually happy to hear like kids are actually, getting into Sonic again. Hopefully everyone's starting them with the OG Sonics so kids can actually know what pain and suffering really is. No saves. The continue system. Underwater levels. It should be funny to know that Ben Schwartz, who actually does the voice of Sonic, he actually also didn't like the original design, so he was happy that they had to do the redesign. So in regards to the redesign and then this success, it's good. Everything played out, The audiences got what they wanted. They got a good design Sonic, and they got a good movie, and 95% audience review score. Like, it's good. It's like a good book, rough middle section, good start, rough middle section, and then everything happy ending at the end, So they got the good review, they got the money, everyone got the Sonic they wanted. We got Jim Carrey again, happy ending.
Yeah, like
Extra $5.
It really played out the way we all hoped, I guess. Because, you do get that internet hysteria and sort of lynch mob mentality where it was like, oh, boo this movie, that model is not for us. But the fact that they did come out with their wallets, for the most part, you'd hope, and then sort of make this thing the largest grossing sort of video game adaptation in US history for opening week, which is pretty cool. So we'll be seeing Tails and Knuckles and whoever else we're going to sort of get introduced to over the coming years with future adaptations. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a live action Netflix spin-off or something like that. Netflix are all about that kind of thing. So, they're sort of committing to video game spin-offs. So maybe we'll get some Sonic. But the cartoon of Sonic, or I think it was like a CGI Sonic way back in the day, wasn't too bad to watch either.
Well, there was 2 Sonic cartoons. There was the OG one that I grew up with, which had the best intro. And then there was like a CGI one, which was a bit more 3D, I guess.
I think that there's 3 because there's another one that my children watched so there was the original Sonic cartoon, and that had just Sonic and Tails. And then there was another one, and my kids have watched it because it was on Netflix, called Sonic's Underground, where Sonic is with his brother and his sister, and they're also in a rock band, and they fight Dr. Robotnik. The theme song is amazing and the worst thing you will ever hear in your life.
Brother and sister?
Yeah, check it out. Sonic's Underground. I don't know if it was like a season 2 theme where they just like gave it a new facelift, but I do remember what you're talking about. The original Sonic cartoon was Sonic, Tails, Dr. Robotnik, and then always those 2 robots, the goofy robots. Or the
the one that was like the one that's like on tank wheels with the long nose thing from the video games, really.
Yes.
So
I want to say Sonic's Underground.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Watch
Sonic Underground. It looks like that really creepy fan art that you can find on the internet where they, go a little bit overboard.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you just know there's some porn of this somewhere.
Oh yeah.
You didn't even need this to begin with, but yeah, it looks exactly like that.
A Google search will probably bring up everything you want, Brandon.
Just turn safe search off and
Rule
enjoy.
You're gonna want to hit that incognito mode.
Oh yeah.
Get it hard.
Oh yeah. All right, so moving forward, and I guess it sort of ties in and segues nicely, Pokemon Home's first week of downloads surpasses 1.3 million, thus generating an estimated revenue of approximately 1.8 million US dollars. The subscriptions obviously are available at $2.99, $4.99 for 3 months, or $15.99 for a full year service to get the platinum experience of Pokemon Home. I have not downloaded it. I have not utilized it. I haven't played Pokemon Sword for many months now. Love the franchise, but I think I've just moved on. Obviously, I'm clearly an Apex Legend superstar these days. But either yourselves get amongst the Pokemon Home situation. There has been some pretty topical stuff that's popped up on the back end of the Pokemon Home drama, where we are seeing a lot of racism popping up during trades where they are renaming Pokemon with a whole heap of expletives and some pretty suspect wording and verbiage. So Nintendo really need to get their act together and sort that out and get that censored ASAP, because you don't want 10-year-old little Timmy getting himself a nice shiny Snorlax or something, and it's called your mum's big fat dick or whatever it's called, just for example. Just for example. So, Pokemon Home. Making money, but also making headlines for the wrong reasons.
Little Timmy going, how'd they know?
Mom!
So, how many people do we know that's actually signed up for this? Like, we know the standard people who we expect, but I too have fallen off the Pokemon wagon. I don't play Pokemon Go anymore. I don't have anything really Pokemon related that I follow now, so I have no need for this.
I don't play.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I don't play. I don't have a Switch. My kids have a Switch, but it's not mine. And if I don't have my own dedicated Switch, I don't play on theirs.
I just pictured your kids like you go to ask to play, and they're like, "No, it's not yours. Go get your own."
I don't know if you noticed, but they're very small, and it's very easy to outmuscle them.
Yeah, but strength in numbers.
Oh no! I tell them all the time. Whenever you boys are ready, go get your brothers, go get your mom, maybe pull one of the neighbors. You're gonna need everybody to take on the big dog. You know what I'm saying? I don't really have any skin in the game on this. I think it's cool now that all the Pokemon fans finally have their integrated Pokemon bank that spans across three systems: Pokemon Go, or 3 games: Pokemon Go, Pokemon Pikachu and Eevee, and now Pokemon Sword and Shield. Correct? It's those 3.
I think it goes further back.
Yeah,
it's like back into the DS days.
So then
it's deep.
But you can still only
interchange.
Like the Pokemon that can go into Sword and Shield are still. It's not like the full dex. It's still just the Pokemon Sword and Shield dex, right?
Yeah, they have extended it though. You are right. There are ones that can't be switched out, but there are ones that are now, like with Pokemon Sword and Shield, I believe they're accepting new ones now. Like they have opened up the range of Pokemon that can be accepted into the game now. So you can have your Bulbasaurs and your Squirtles and whatnots. I love trying to do the old
Squirtle Squad.
Squirtle Squirt.
I love that the Squirtle Squad in the cartoon, quick side note, just went around digging holes. How many people do they kill?
Oh, there'd be a few. There'd be a lot of rolled ankles, people sort of tripping over them holes and things, or falling in and hurting their backs. A lot of compo claims.
How many elderly just fell into a hole in the woods and nobody ever found them? How many, I need justice.
I'd watch that episode. That's great.
How do you execute a Pokemon that's killed people? Is it normal, they just take it out back and old yeller it? Or do you think that
maybe it's themed to the Pokemon, so they make turtle soup.
So they just make a group of Raichus just relentlessly electrocute the fuck out of it?
Well, that's the thing. The electric chair is perfect for Squirtle.
Yeah, or it faints,
water type.
and then they don't take it to a Pokemon center, and then they just let it die of natural causes.
Of exhaustion. Yeah. That's a real thing too. That's a real thing.
Sorry to take it so dark.
Yeah. So what also is a bit of a real thing, this is sort of cutting edge news headline that's just about to break the internet. Did you guys know that Microsoft Flight Simulator has all the airports in the world, its developers have said? So there's 37,000 airports that were manually edited by the developers of Microsoft Flight Simulator. And this is up from the huge number of 24,000 simulated airports in the 2006 version of the game. Is this tickling your aircraft pickles or what? Is this going to make you want to jump on some Flight Simulator knowing that you can fly, land, take off, do all those air-based awesome things from 37,000 real life airports?
I think.
What in the hell? What is this?
Is this the first? I think this is the first ever job title in the games industry where you just say, "Oh, I work in the games industry."
Yeah.
I can't imagine how boring
I'm-
it is to explain. Oh, you know what? What we're doing right now is we're helping to make sure that we've edited and developed 36,000 airports all across the world for Microsoft Flight Studio. Sit down. Let me explain it to you. So here's how we go. I go into the program. By that time, you're already asleep.
Yeah. I just like detail in like all airports across the world, and all I can think about, I'm like, yeah, but can you like capture the absolute sheer frustration of just lining up all the stuff that happens inside the airport, you know, all the bullshit that kind of goes on in there? How about you do that detailed stuff and let me know how you go with it, because
that's
where the real magic happens.
That's got to be a punishment. Nobody does that on purpose. It's like if you fuck up for the week, you have to design like 3. That's got to be a punishment. There's no way someone's like, I'll design them. Yeah, what do I do? I'll put it on my...
You're spending the week
resume.
designing taxiways.
Congratulations,
Get in the car.
Todd. Remember when you got 2 meals in the break room? Well, now you get to design 10 airports, you nerd. Next time, keep it to 1.
And you just know for lunch they get given the airplane meals. They just get those
The
trays coming out. You want chicken or vegetarian?
Oh, vegetarian. Well, sorry, they're all gone. You're going to have to have
peanuts.
chicken.
Now
Why'd
sit
you
down
ask?
and shut up and make an airport, Todd. You know what you did.
Yeah, apparently Todd, there's he'd be using a 3-step process and a specially created tool to edit the thousands of airports in the game. No sort of breakdown on if Todd's the tool or if it's a software-based tool. But there's a lot going on here. But the crazy thing is the developers are forced to trace logical elements straight onto the Bing aerial view map. So they're not even allowed to use like Google Maps. It's like, it's all by Microsoft, so get on Bing, Todd, or you're fired.
God.
So,
Can you imagine?
Yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
I just want to know, like, where this benefit comes from. It's like obviously, like, we can all laugh and everything, but there is a very strong fan base on these, like, flight simulator games. Like, there is a fan base for it, so I don't want to laugh at what they enjoy. But, like, is it just the enjoyment of knowing that you're flying on a real, like, tarmac from a place in the world that you've been on? Like, do you reckon that's just the experience? Because that's all it would be, because it's flight simulator, so it's literally you just landing there and then taking off from there.
I just think of, like, you know, John Mulligan down the road where he's like, I was on the fence about buying the next flight simulator. 24,000 airports is a lot. What's it going to take to get me back in the pilot's chair? 37,000 airports? Holy fuck, this is a day one purchase. I'm pre-ordering right now. I've always wanted to know what the turbulence is like over in Kazakhstan in the backwater airport there. You know, you've got to avoid certain bloody local wildlife and potential insurgents and bomb blasts. Wonder if it's going to be like that if you're taking off from, like, Iraq. Is it like real world shit like that? I'd play that. If you got to try and, like, land passenger jets in around those sort of real sort of boiling pot areas, that's some dicey shit.
Pretty dicey.
I just hope
Maybe
they've got all the really bad airplane places to eat, and maybe like 2 or 3 people that have coronavirus and they just don't know it yet.
Oof.
Yeah, and you got to land in time before it spreads.
It basically just turns into was it Plague Inc?
Mm-hmm.
I love playing that game, but now I just feel a bit funny. I booted that up the other day and I didn't, like, got to the start screen. I'm like, no, I don't feel comfortable playing.
Felt
this
too
right
real.
now. I closed
Felt
it.
too
So,
real.
yeah, it is no joke. And something else that's no joke, probably the joke is that no one really cares about this game much anymore. PUBG update 6.2 is coming imminently and will enable PlayStation 4 and Xbox One crossplay. So all you console gamers out there that want to shoot your Sony pony fans. I've never heard that term, by the way. I'm gonna start using that. That's not bad.
I'm a Sony pony.
It just makes you think of Genuine, though, getting down.
I guess I'm not a full-fledged Sony pony since I've been playing a lot on Xbox. Shuhei, I just want to apologize. I'm so sorry. It's a phase. We needed a break.
He definitely listens to this podcast.
Also, Shuhei
listens for the things he's going to sue us for.
Yeah. Stop saying my name!
It's funny that they're like PUBG is now cross-platform, like PlayStation and Xbox. You can cross-play now, and all that tells me is that they're running out of, like, people to fill lobbies, so they now need to just, like, combine them all.
Yeah, because they've already migrated. At least here in Australia, they've closed the Australian-based PUBG servers. So you've got to actually go through the Oceanias or through the North American servers again. So yeah, those pings are very real. But yeah, PUBG update 6.2, which I need to correct myself, is available now. So the update is live. But any Sony Pony or Team Green fanboys and fangirls out there that want to get amongst it, now's the time to play with your friends together across those rival codes. But let's jump into the last bit of news that we've got for this episode. And this comes via way of Brendan Sinclair at gamesindustry.biz. Great first name there, I must say. Good on him. Eli Roth to direct Borderlands movie. And there's a little bit of reading here, so I'm just going to grab this news snippet here and smash it through as quick as I can, and then we can unpack. The Borderlands big screen adaptation will be handled by a veteran horror director. According to Hollywood Reporter, Lionsgate has secured Eli Roth to handle the upcoming feature film based on Gearbox's loot-driven shooter. Roth may be best known as the director of Cabin Fever and the first two Hostel movies. More recently, he directed the 2018 remake of Death Wish starring Bruce Willis and the family film The House with a Clock in Its Walls starring Jack Black and Cate Blanchett. First and foremost, never heard of the movie Death Wish. The House with a Clock in Its Walls, really good film. Really, really good film. Really enjoyed it. Had a real goosebumpsy vibe to it. Anyway, I'm back to the news article. Roth says, I'm so excited to dive into the world of Borderlands, and I could not be doing it with a better script, producing team, and studio. I have a long, successful history with Lionsgate. Successful, debatable, but anyway. I feel like we have grown up together and that everything in my directing career has led to a project of this scale and ambition. The script Roth mentions was written by Craig Mazin, who won an Emmy for his work on HBO's Chernobyl. He also has writing credits on Scary Movie 3 and 4, The Hangover Part 2 and 3, and Rocket Man, which is the 1997 film, not the Elton John biopic that just came out recently. The film is being executive produced by Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford, so you know that's going to go well, as well as Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick. Avi Arad are also on board as producers, along with Eric Feig. The Borderlands film has been in the works since 2015. It will be the first Take-Two property to see a feature film adaptation since 2008's Mark Wahlberg vehicle, Max Payne.
I watched that in theaters, by the way. I just want to throw that out there.
In theaters?
yeah, I watched that in theaters. I'm not proud of it. I just, for full disclosure.
You would have felt pretty dirty coming out of that movie as well. That was a rough watch.
Realistically, I was like 15 and trying to get a hand job for my date, so I didn't watch much of the movie.
Hey, my name's Max Payne. I'm Mark Wahlberg. I'm surprised. I'm sad. Someone shoot me. I don't know. I need to take some painkillers. Let's kill him.
Hey, I'm gonna jump in this river. It's really cold. You know? Say hi to your mom.
All right, so we're getting a Borderlands movie. I wonder if they've sort of strapped a rocket to this off the back of some Sonic success. Who knows? But Eli Roth hasn't done much of note as of late. Obviously, Cabin Fever and especially the first Hostel. That movie made me scared to travel anywhere, even outside of my town for a while after watching that movie. Like, I ain't getting abducted and cut up and fucked up by crazy Euro bloody sadists. But Borderlands movie, what do you think about this as a whole? And then I wanted to sort of maybe we deep dive and maybe we cast the 4 Vault Hunters of this. So what do you reckon? Is this movie got some legs? Do you think it's going to be any good? What's your feels? Miss Hart, lead us off.
So, okay, Eli Roth, I don't mind him as an, director, producer, like everything that he's been involved with. Not to, like, he doesn't bother me. A lot of people have a problem with it because he's kind of like gore porn, like that's his style. I think that integrates really well with Borderlands. Like, if we know that he's attached to it, we can only assume we would be getting that kind of element, which is good. Can he do comedy? I don't know. I haven't seen too much on the comedic side, like, from him. So it needs to have the right level of his goriness and action that he's, provided, but we need that comedy side as well. So hopefully him and the writers can like work that out. But in regards to whether I think we need a Borderlands movie, I'm going to say no. I didn't need it. But I'm also kind of bitter based on my Borderlands 3 roller coaster of emotions. So I don't think I'm probably the best one to be waving the flag for this movie.
Nah, fair call. What about you, Mister at Dad Bod Plays?
I think Eli Roth is probably perfect for this. I know a lot of people, like, kind of funny, had the argument where he's really into more gory stuff. The Borderlands universe is a very gory, messed up world. Granted, we get it in the video game form, and it's very lighthearted, lots of jokes. But at its core, it's a rough world. It's a brutal world, and there's no margin for error or forgiveness from anybody in it. So the fact that Eli Roth is on this, I think, is a perfect casting for director. And probably like a movie he was made to do. I think seeing the rest of the cast will be great. But I mean, realistically, this movie's never going to get made, though, regardless of whether Eli Roth is in it. I mean, we keep getting stuff that the Uncharted movie's going to come out, and I'll believe it when I see that first trailer or like set photos. So will it get made? I think it's a coin flip. Is Eli Roth a great director for it? Absolutely, yes.
I think this is coming. I think they're going to throw some money at this and make it happen. They've got some pretty notable sort of people behind it, like having a guy that's sort of won an Emmy for Chernobyl, which is, you know, completely unrelated to Borderlands, but a fantastic piece of television that you need to check out for anyone that hasn't. Like, it is a pretty crazy retelling of some hard truths that happened in Chernobyl way back when. So yeah, they just need to nail the tone. Like, it's a larger than life game where, yeah, it is hyper violent and very tongue in cheek and zany. Like, it's almost needs to follow like a Deadpool path, I think, where it's sort of gory, but you've got to have dick jokes in there, gun violence. So it can't be like an M-rated film or a PG-13 rated film for you in the US of A. So they need to really double down on the gunplay and the shooting and all that kind of stuff. But it's kind of be cool to see that gunplay mixed with the abilities and the supernatural elements that Borderlands possesses. They are sort of staying true to the source material. So the initial synopsis is saying it's following 4 vault hunters on a journey through the planet of Pandora to find the key to the ultimate vault. On their quest for glory, players encounter alien wildlife, crazy bandits, and other forces. So obviously, it's ripped straight from the pages of Borderlands 1, 2, or 3. Copy, paste. But it still could be pretty fun. I thought we could have some fun and maybe try and lay down who we would cast for the 4 Vault Hunters. So my thought process was we'd sort of be looking at the OG 4.
Good.
So we're talking Mordecai, Lilith, Brick, and Roland. So who you got as Mordecai? If you have thought that far ahead, or if I'm just throwing it at you last minute here.
Well, I only really played a siren, so
yeah, me too.
Yeah, so like my experience with the other Vault Hunters like aren't great. Mordecai's your hunter, adept with snipers and pistols, and he's also got his pet Bloodwing that he can send out to attack. So he's more of your hunter, your tracker type of character. And I've sort of chucked Diego Luna in as my Mordecai, obviously from most recently Rogue One, and then the subsequent Disney Plus spin-off that they are working on for that at the moment. Anthony, what about you? Who you throwing in as Mordecai?
Mordecai, I think it's a pretty obvious one, guys. And, not to trounce on your choices, but Johnny Depp plays Mordecai.
I mean, why
I could see that working. I hate Johnny Depp these days with a passion, but I could see him just rehashing his Jack Sparrow.
He's already played Mordecai in a movie, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that spy movie.
Mordecai.
Oh, wow.
God, that movie was so bad too. I like that though. Like he does play those quirky, weird characters pretty well, and Mordecai was sort of the more like left of center character out of the main leads. So we got Johnny Depp, we got Diego Luna, and who you got, Miss Hart?
I honestly don't know. I think Diego Luna, I was kind of I feel bad, but I was kind of heading down that route, just based on how he holds himself, kind of thing. That
great
just
minds,
makes
great
sense.
Minds.
Yeah, it just makes sense, kind of thing. So, because with this, so we're talking 4 Vault Hunters.
Yep.
So are we talking about those specific ones, or because I had just assumed that they were going to do the subclasses and then create new characters from that.
Yeah, I took it literally and just went with the 4 OGs, but yeah, we could go with the classes, but I'll throw the hat in the ring for Lilith, and everyone's favorite whitewashing actress that just gets signed up to everything. Scarlett Johansson's going to be my Lilith. Just
How did you know I was going to do
because she's
that?
got the name.
I'm going to say, well, she's not Asian, so we can't do ScarJo. You hella took my ScarJo joke. I love it. Great minds think alike.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Scarlett Johansson is my Lilith for Borderlands the movie.
No, hang on. I'm grabbing the name of the chick that I want. Olivia Munn.
Oh, yeah. I
As
can
Lilith.
see that.
Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like with Lilith, you need, like, also, like, that sarcastic kind of, like, sassiness. And, I don't know, just a pretty face.
Yeah, she's got that in spades too, obviously, and she's not opposed to sort of playing those fantasy-esque characters. Obviously, she was Psylocke in
And she
X-Men
was
Age of Apocalypse.
fucking dedicated to that, by the way. She knew everything about the character. So
God, too bad that movie sucked. I can't stand how
balls.
Apocalypse looked, but that's a rant for another day.
it really is.
All right, so we've got Olivia Munn and Scarlett Johansson for Lilith. If we're shifting gears and we're talking about Brick, who Brick plays as the Berserker, so he's all about melee, ground and pound, and he also loves heavy weapons. I'm going with Dave Bautista for this. I thought because we need someone that's tanky, we need someone with size.
Yeah.
His acting is still a work in progress, but Brick wasn't the most personable fella in the gaming anyway. So give me some Dave Bautista as
See,
Brick.
but you know what? Looking at Brick, and the problem is it's the physique, right? It's the freaking physique. And like you'd think that Batista like was used as a reference source. Like the whole shaved head, the like square like rounded noggin that's like with no neck. It matches. Identical.
Yeah. 100%.
You know,
100%. Who you guys got?
It's all about family. I'm going with Vin Diesel.
Oh, nice.
Vin Diesel's coming in, okay? He's going to drive in a Supra, and he's going to block family. He's going to say family 18 times, and he's going to drive on ice and somehow get his car underneath the sub. I don't know. They're basically superheroes at this point with Vin Diesel. Bloodshot.
Bloodshot looks great, by the way. I'm keen as a bean to watch some of that craziness.
I just think we need to put Vin Diesel down for a bit because he's definitely riding a high horse that he shouldn't be on. Sorry, but the Fast and Furious movies like have me concerned about that man.
Yeah. How long until we see another Triple X movie, another Xander Cage return?
Never.
I never watched them.
They were pretty rough. It's
Were
like
they? Everyone talks about
he was
them
an
in such
extreme
high
sports
regard.
dude, so now he's a secret agent action superstar.
It was like, how can we make X Games a movie with James Bond for half the budget?
Yeah. I just love the scenes like where he's getting shot at by bad guys, but he's got time to pop like a backflip off a snowboard and stuff. It's like, yeah, righto, man. No worries, you dickhead. But then obviously Ice Cube played him for a movie as well. Like, what in the hell?
The old switcheroo.
All right, so who you got, Miss Hart, for Brick? Who you going for the big tanky man that loves smashing shit up?
I don't know, like... No, because, like, age range is bothering me as well. It's like, how old is he technically? Because, like, big
40?
frame, shaved head. I would like Kevin Nash to, like, play him, but that's also, like, a little bit of a personal thing as well.
You've got a thing for Kevin Nash, I've realised over the years.
Really, you only just realised
Yeah.
that? But he's a bit on the frail side now. So.
Oh, Diesel. Yeah. Yeah, he looks real frail. Like, I saw photos of him the other day, and yeah, he was
in the
my legs are
Punisher,
bigger than his
so-
right now.
Like, he was in the original Punisher movie, and he was, big, brick shithouse, so maybe he can come back, but I don't know. All my big buff heroes are getting old.
Yeah.
Just sad.
All our heroes from the 80s and 90s. All right, so Roland, who is the soldier. Obviously, he's your typical sort of first-person shooter, soldier class. He's got a turret. I sort of just went with the easy pick here, and I just love to try and cast him everything I can. I've got Idris
Oh my
Elba
God,
playing
yes!
Roland.
Yes! You and I, we're on the same page here. You're about to get kisses.
Ooh, yeah.
If I ever come to Australia, I'm going to give you all the smooches because, my God, Idris Elba. Yes, he's definitely rolling.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to them smooches, by the way.
You'll be getting them. You'll be getting the business. You'll be
All
getting
right.
the business end of these lips.
Oh yeah,
Oh, my
gonna get that little. We're gonna have some mustaches tickling. It's gonna be beautiful. But Miss Hart, Roland, who you got?
Terry Crews.
Who'd you say? Terry Crews?
Terry Crews.
That's
Nice.
a good one too.
Yeah, I can see that. And he'd be perfect for a film like this as well. Like he's
Exactly.
loud.
He's got the personality for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my cast is like pretty much a whole bunch of old dudes. I do apologize, but I don't know. It's
All
like
the old dudes.
all the old dudes.
Who would you get to play Handsome Jack?
Kiefer Sutherland, since I'm down the old person route.
I'd go someone like Timothy Oliphant. That's where I'm feeling for Handsome Jack, just off the cuff. Who's just another actor I love, and I think he'd weave in nicely as that sort of shit-eating bad guy that we come to love / hate.
And see, the problem is, right, especially with Handsome Jack, I feel the voice is it. Like, the voice is the character kind of thing. So saying, like, oh, casting this person for this role, I can't imagine, like, anyone else doing that sarcastic, just chauvinistic voice of Handsome Jack. So it's really hard to kind of cast for it.
Yeah, well, and a bonus one, who would you cast as Claptrap? Because no doubt he's gonna make an appearance. Are they gonna recast Claptrap as
Ben
like
Schwartz.
a little witty person?
Ben Schwartz. He just played Sonic. We can get him as Claptrap.
Well, they're gonna like
The little
Star Wars
robot.
it and put an actual like human
Well,
inside the
it's
thing
just
on
the
like
voice,
a
right?
unicycle.
It's just the voice.
Oh, little exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Cool.
the
We can
voice.
take a Gearbox employee and not pay him for it.
Hey,
Ooh,
damn,
topical.
topical yet true. So there you go. I'm interested to see what they do with this movie. Eli Roth, he's got the chops to handle something like this, but they just really need to commit to the over the top zaniness, like Mad Max with more humor and more blood and just more everything. I think is what this movie's going to be, or maybe it's going to be Sahara with violence. Who knows?
It's definitely got to be lighthearted, and it's also definitely R-rated. A Borderlands movie cannot be anything but R-rated.
100%. All right, so that's been the news. So let's shift on. There isn't really anything coming out this week from the new release space that's worth deep diving on. There's no real games there. 2 Point Hospital is the main one, I guess, that's made me raise an eyebrow and go, oh, maybe I could give this a
It's
look.
fun as
I love a
shit.
good simulator game. It's
I've
shit.
played it. No, it's fun as shit. I've played
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2 Point Hospital makes its way to console, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Switch on February 25. But we're going to round this episode out with our tweet of the week. And this has divided the internet. And our tweet of the week comes via way of a small-time streamer known as Ninja. And the tweet reads, the phrase, in quotes, "it's just a game," end quote, is such a weak mindset. You are okay with what happened, losing imperfection of a craft. When you stop getting angry after losing, you've lost twice. There's always something to learn and always room for improvement. Never settle. Where do you guys stand on this statement? Like, a lot of people have been up in arms at Ninja going, mate, you're a dickhead. Anger doesn't help anything. You know, it's just the whole cliche. It's just a game. But where do you guys sit on this? I'll toss it over to you first, Anthony. Where do you sit on the Ninja fence here?
Listen, it sounds like all of you have played multiplayer games before, correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. So, at some point in your life, you have been playing those games and you've been really into it, right? Right? Yeah, we can all say, you know?
Right.
And then you get really close, or even with like Dark Souls or something, you're so close and you keep dying, and now you're at that edge of frustration. And someone says, it's just a game. Please, nobody has ever responded well to that after getting just that hard L over and over and over again, or that close loss. No one's ever been like, you know what? You're absolutely right. It is just a game. I'm still happy. No, you're like, fuck you. I don't give a fuck if it's just a game. I want to fucking win because I'm a winner. And that's what winners do. And all these 13-year-olds keep kicking my ass. I also don't play Dark Souls, so I just use that as a kind of like placeholder. But I'm 100% with Ninja on this, especially at the rate that he plays it. Saying it's just a game, especially with competitive esports as well, with games like this, Fortnite, Apex, Rainbow Six Siege, all that. It's really not just a game, because those people who are taking it seriously and taking it not where it's just a game are the people who are in these professional esports making thousands and thousands of dollars off this. This is their living. You're going to go up to Tom. Remember when Tom Brady lost his second Super Bowl to Eli Manning? And like, you go up to Tom Brady right after that, go, it's just a game. He's going to tell you to fuck off, and his wife Giselle is going to fucking wave all her cash in front of you. I think it's true, and everybody's shitting on him because guess what? It's popular to shit on Ninja. Ninja's so big. Let's all shit on Ninja. Now, was the execution and the way you went about it off? Yes, it was. But Nobody who's ever played a competitive multiplayer game can ever say, oh, well, that's stupid, because we've all had a moment where someone said it's just a game or calm down, and you reacted negatively because you want to win or you're frustrated that you haven't been winning. I think he's absolutely right.
A lot of valid points there. I love that. Miss Hart, what you got?
Let me paint a picture for you.
Paint it.
Overwatch, right?
Yep.
So, 8-bit, we're all friends. Let's all play some Overwatch together. Alrighty then. So we've got a crew together, me and Brendan and a few others in the team. Playing, we're losing. We're losing pretty bad. Brendan is swearing up a fucking storm. Fuck this person, fuck that person, Mike's shitty character, fuck this, fuck. I am laughing in hysterics. I know we're losing, but I'm having fun. This is great. Brendan is losing his fucking mind. Anyway, a bunch of losses. Then another group of people that are a part of our little clan kind of get online and they're like, oh, there's too many of us. Brendan jumps ship to the winning team, to the pros, to the, because, he wants to fucking win. And we gave him shit for it from that day forth because we were just having fun. Brendan was set on fucking winning. And yeah, it's kind of a running joke in our group now about like although actually Brendan's done it a few times now where he jumps ship to a more professional coordinated team because he wants to win. So
it's equal parts ego and also my frail health, where I worry my heart can't sustain these repeated defeats and close losses and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah, so it's two polar opposites of gameplay for you there. I'm not a serious player at all. The only time I really rage out on a game is Tetris 99. That's probably the most anyone's ever heard me swear. The phrase, it's just a game, and then someone losing their shit over it, I think says more about the person and, like, how they evaluate their situations right there. If a person's being a dick and just being like, oh, it's just a game, you're a loser, I can understand. But overall on this tweet by Ninja, I see what he's saying in the sense that if you want to do better and, you're not succeeding, you should take a step back and learn from your mistakes. But unfortunately with Ninja, and with Ninja's majority fan base, how his tweet can be interpreted is you're allowed to rage. You're allowed to be an angry, frustrated person. That's allowed because you want to be a winner. He needed to phrase it differently. It needed to be different. Unfortunately, when people kind of came back to him with it, he just got on the defensive. And sometimes I think he does this so he can be a trending, always on the tip of people's tongues, always being relevant kind of thing. So, yeah, I see the good and I see the bad in this tweet. So,
yeah, I'm with you, and obviously I can't say much without sounding too hypocritical, because yes, I do rage. I was playing some Apex last night, and the cuss words that were coming out of my mouth, like, it's funny. I always sit down and I'm like, if Rach and I are playing together, I'm like, I'm gonna be zen tonight. I'm not gonna get angry. And slowly but surely, like, if I get knocked down or we lose a few games, like, I'm like, okay, no worries.
A few moments later.
Like, exactly. Cut forward to 3 games, and I'm like, F you dick, and blah, blah, blah. And I know it's not good for my damn ticker, so I'm trying to get better as a whole with that. But there's just certain things that just make my blood boil, and competitive online shooters is that main thing that just gets me going. So I can understand where he's coming from, because I think you can harness that rage and that fuel, because I'll say all these expletives and whatever else, and then Rach's like, oh, we're done, we're hopping off. I'm like, no, one more game, let's go again. So like, I can see where you use that sort of negative energy to push forward and try and get better or get the win or improve in the game. So I get that. But yeah, he just didn't use all the characters allocated to him on this tweet. Like, if you sort of said, and talking about, like, it's not a weak mindset, the whole it's just a game, but like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with losing and using that to fuel yourself to get better. But being dismissive of just going, it's nothing major. And like, you can take that into anything, like into work, into relationships. And it's like, oh, it's nothing. It doesn't matter. Like, yeah, you need to have pride in what you do. And that's what he's trying to say here. You need to have pride and passion and energy to try and get better. But obviously, with the tweet he sent out, it didn't really convey all that. Hence the blow up. But yeah, I'm like, I don't brood on these games for a week afterwards going, oh man, if only I took that shot or grabbed that gun or whatever. Like, I'll have that quick burst, but then I'm on to the next thing. Like, I try and not let it gestate because I would just become probably the Human Torch. Like, I would just catch fire on the microphone and you know, cause all kind of bad thing. And no one wants to see that, especially after those Fantastic Four movies. My goodness. But yeah, I can see it on both sides. Like, and I think we're all probably one and the same here on the pod. Like, we can understand where he's coming from. We've all lived it to varying degrees, whether it be Tetris, whether it be Apex, or just about any shooter in my, or maybe any competitive game in my mindset. But yeah, I get it. Just don't do this sort of baiting mentality where if you are on the other end of that and your friend or your enemy's doing that and you're like, oh, it's just a game, sucked in. Like, don't troll about it. But yeah, it can be more than a game if it's someone's livelihood. So different strokes. Different goddamn strokes.
Yeah. I just think telling an audience of young boys who already have 1,000,001 things to worry about in life and then telling them you have to be angry. It's fuel to fire.
Well,
oh yeah.
We all know that Ninja's not the best at conveying his tweets in like the football tweet. Remember that one? The infamous football tweet? I think at this point, when he has an idea, he needs to pass the phone off to his wife and say, can you please put this in a way that's not going to make the internet not freak out? Because I mean, she is his manager. She's his manager. I'm assuming she does, handle his sponsored tweets and stuff like that. He gets in the moment, obviously. Like I said, the execution's not the best. And I agree with what you're saying, kind of being like, it's okay to rage. I think he should have specified that he probably should have put something in there when you're playing competitive games at the level that I'm playing, which he is a professional at. Now, granted, they're going to give him shit either way because they're going to be like, wow, conceded much. But it is true, though. He is playing Fortnite at a professional level. Just like if Tfue said the same thing, people would probably be on Tfue about it. But yeah, the execution of it wasn't the best, and he could have clarified it a bit. Now, he would have taken a little bit of heat, but at least that clarification would have been there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, this tweet reads like something DJ, not DJ Khaled, it is DJ Khaled. Khaled's the good singer,
yes.
But it sounds like something like that. All that's missing at the end of this is like another one. That's all that's missing off this tweet, and you could have been straight from his mouth too.
I'm sure there's a congratulations, you played yourself gift somewhere in those comments.
Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, congratulations, Anthony. You've made it to the tail end of episode 183. Woo! You haven't played yourself here on the Hungry Gamers. Really, really appreciate you stopping on by, riffing with us, having some fun, bringing that energy that we want to bottle and sell and make millions over here in Australia. My goodness, Dad Bod's Liquid or something. I don't know what we're going to call it. We'll work on a name. Everyone loves Dad Bods.
Dad Bod's baby making gravy.
Oh yeah,
perfect for Thanksgiving.
Pour that on my steak right now.
Thanksgivings and Christmases. You can pour it on your turkey, mashed potatoes, and just pour it on whatever you want.
Or your fat hog.
Yeah, pour it on whatever you want.
Unrelated, but slightly related. Did you guys ever catch those episodes of Jerry Springer where they had those weird food fetishes and they'd sort of like lay on a big thing of food and then sort of have sex almost in front of the audience and they're pouring gravy on each other? And
I think I do remember that actually.
People are weird, but each their own.
So I'm definitely the worst, like backwoods mountain person because I never really watched much of Jerry Springer, even though I grew up in a place where I should have been watching Jerry Springer, very white trashy. So
you were living it instead.
I was living it. I mean, we weren't in like a trailer or anything. Actually, fun fact, I have lived in a double wide before, but that was when I was in college, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, that's fair, mate. And you've come out all right.
Yeah,
you're a good-looking fella. You got good, healthy kids. You got a good marriage. You got a good life. So there's hope for us all
and
yet.
Those blinds. Look how wonderful those are.
Oh yeah, mate, on that casino money. The house doesn't always win with you, my friend.
I'll be taking your money left and right.
All right, so is there anything you wanted to say before we close this one up, Mr. Special Guest Co-Host? And also, I guess in this too, let the listeners know where they can find you, what you got coming up, anything. The floor is yours. Go
First
wild.
and foremost, I want to say thank you to the two of you for having me on your podcast. I appreciate it. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time and an amazing treat. I really, really, really appreciate and love everything you guys are doing and the 8-Bit Collective is doing. You guys realistically light a fire under my ass every time you step your game up to that next level. Every time I think you guys, there's no way they can take it up any further. They're already great. You guys find a way to kick it up to that next notch. You go from 11 to 12, 12 to 13. So thank you for making amazing content. Thank you for having me on. Now, where you can find me. So Dad Bod Plays on all social media, including Twitch. And then check out my podcast, Dad's Beards Nerds. I do that with George Hyoko and Tommy Aries, two of my best friends. We have a wonderful, really kind of loose-fitting conversational podcast with people. We're very off the cuff. We've got a template, but we go off script all the time. And then we do news Monday through Friday, our DBN news. So that's basically where you can find me. So check those out.
Hell yeah. What about you, Miss Hart? You got anything you want to say before we close the Hungry HQ down for another week?
Yeah, I just want to say that the season of Harley Quinn's cartoon just finished, and they've already talked about a new season for April. So if you do not have the DC Universe app or subscription, I still recommend it. It's a great cartoon. Check it out.
Real quick, can we talk about, real fast, that episode with Aquaman with the fish? And she's like, I think there's a public pool 3 blocks down. He's like, yeah, put saltwater fish in a fresh pool. Are you an idiot? And he's got an octopus on his head. And also Bane be like, what's up with this political correctness?
Like, the show is brilliant. If you're a DC fan, it's fantastic. It's for us adults. Nothing's for kids. It's a great show. But so, check it out.
Sadly, not available here in the Australians unless you're going to, get yourself a tunnel and VPN your way out of the land of Australia and catch it that way. Because I'm just living through these legends over there on the West Coast. But I'll get to it eventually because I've heard many good things. And the little highlights and snippets I've seen on the internets do crack me up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this has been episode 183 of the Hungry Gamers podcast. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe us and all the other podcasts in the hashtag AP Collective, as well as all the other podcasts you are listening to on the Reg, because those ratings, reviews, subscriptions help keep the emotional lights on in our hearts, helps keep us tracking, helps keep us relevant. It takes no time and means an awful lot to us. So from all the podcasts out there you listen to, just take that 30 seconds, jump on there, write a review. But it's good. We need it. And something you need, audiotechnica.com or audiotechnica.com.au. For the best in audio-based equipment, we're talking headphones, microphones, gaming headsets, turntables, and everything else in between. We have been using their gear since day one and will continue to use their gear to day 10,000 because it is the best in audio-based equipment in the podcast and gaming and content creation sphere. So audiotechnica.com or audiotechnica.com.au. But until next week, 8-Bit Nation, it has been our pleasure to serve you episode 183. Anthony, thanks again for stopping on by. It has been an absolute freaking hoot. Be sure to check him out at Dad Bod Plays on all the socials and on Twitch. Show him some love because he needs it and he's a very handsome man.
Thanks again, everyone. Thank you.
So until next week, 8-Bit Nation, much love.
Stay hungry.
Bye, everybody.
You've been listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.